Here.
Black. Here. Beck. Here. Bratton. Here. Coleman. Here. Crawford. Here. Fitzwater. Here. Mosley. Here. Nuremberg. Here. You have a quorum.
We have a quorum. I move we go into executive session. Do I have a second? I have a second. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The ayes have it. We're in executive session. First bill is Senate Substitute Number 2 for Senate Bill 863 before the committee. Do I have a second? I do have a second. The bill is for the committee. This bill is dealing with MSHA that we perfected last week. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, I move that we do pass Senate Substitute Number 2 for Senate Bill 863. Do I have a second? Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Bernskatter.
Aye.
Black. Aye. Beck. Aye. Bratton. Aye. Coleman. Aye. Crawford. Aye. Fitzwater. Aye. Mosley. Aye. Nuremberg. Aye. 9-0.
By your vote of 9-0, you have voted to pass Senate Substitute Number 2 for Senate Bill 863. Next one is Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1196. I want to bring that before the committee. Do I have a second? I have a second. This is the bill that modifies the grant amounts for certain workforce training programs. These include Fast Track Workforce Incentive Grant and the Workforce Pell Grants. Is there any discussion on that? Seeing none, I move that we do pass Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1196. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Bernskatter.
Aye.
Black. Aye. Beck. Aye. Bratton. Aye. Coleman. Aye. Crawford. Aye. Fitzwater. Aye. Mosley. Aye. Nuremberg. Aye. 9-0.
By your vote of 9-0, you voted to pass Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1196. The next one is I move that we bring Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1553 before the committee. Do I have a second? I have a second. This bill was perfected a couple of weeks ago. It authorizes incentives for producing certain critical materials and pharmaceuticals. Is there any discussion on this bill? Seeing none, I move that we do pass Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1553. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Bernskatter.
Aye.
Black. Aye. Beck. Aye. Bratton. Aye. Coleman. No. Crawford. Aye. Fitzwater. Aye. Mosley. Aye. Nuremberg.
By your vote of 8-1, you have voted to pass Senate Substitute for Senate Bill 1553. The next one is I move that we bring Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 2180 before the committee. Do I have a second? I have a second. The bill is now before the committee. This is the bill that changes how correspondence is sent to recipients of the Blind Pension Fund from certified mail to first-class mail. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, I move that we do pass Senate Substitute for House Bill 2180. Do I have a second? I have a second. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Bernskatter.
Aye.
Black. Aye. Beck. Aye. Bratton. Aye. Coleman. Aye. Crawford. Aye. Fitzwater. Aye. Mosley. Aye. Nuremberg. Aye. 9-0.
By your vote of 9-0, you voted to pass Senate Committee Substitute for House Bill 2180. Next one is Senate Committee Substitute for House Committee Substitute for HJR 173 and 174. Do I have a second? I have a second. The bill is now before the committee. This is the constitutional amendment for the tax proposal of the governor. Is there any discussion on that? Senator Bernberg, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I just got this, so pardon me as I haven't had a lot of time to peruse this. But, you know, some of the initial takeaways, it's absolutely staggering. I mean, I hope everybody really takes a moment to look at this fiscal note. I think it's probably one of the most important things we'll vote on all year. You know, we're looking at a potential impact of $4.2 billion in 2027. In 2028, $6.2 billion impact. In 2029, an $8.5 billion impact to our state budget. And these are not, it's not hyperbolic to say we are going to be in dire straits. When we look at page 12 of the fiscal note, we go in there and we can look at what our current general revenue spending is in these departments and what a reduction would look like in all of these departments, cutting fundamental, vital state services in half. I mean, take a look at page 12 and what that impact is going to be across our state and our ability to be able to, again, just fund basic fundamental services like public education, like mental health, like public safety. I do not know how we are going to be able to pay the bills. This is something that I think we really need to take some time in the coming weeks. Obviously, we all know the clock is ticking. We've got 5 weeks to go. Not that anybody's counting, but some real issues here when we look at, some changes that we need to be considering. When we look at page 3, I think one of the fundamental flaws is looking how we're going to be calculating this based on, and again, I'm looking at the fiscal note, page 3, when I look at how some of these calculations are being made. One of the changes in the committee sub was to change how we're going to calculate this based on a full fiscal year, as we need to be doing, and changing it to being based on just a half a fiscal year. And that's something that definitely needs to be looked at carefully. But I know we've been talking about this for quite some time, but it wasn't until I saw these numbers in front of me that I think it is shocking, and it should cause us to pause and really consider what we're doing here and how we're going to be able to protect vulnerable Missourians moving forward.
Thank you, Senator. Yeah, I have questions too, and Senator Black had some information.
Yes, Senator Bernskidder, thank you. I did want to, as somebody that's been working on the budget and have participated that in quite a while, but at the same time doesn't have the what some people consider strong enough opposition to this, because I think it is a plan that can work if people will work together to come up with the proper plan to replace our taxes, our income tax, with a broadening of sales tax. So with that, I did have people get a hold of me today so that I could have that fiscal note explained to me as well. And we hear this once in a while, so everybody listen again, that drafting error, right? It had nothing to do with our actual fiscal oversight group. Nobody in that office made an error, but the basic thing that cost so much on this was the revenue trigger language in Article 10, Section 4, D21, was updated from what the House passed to compare revenues in the applicable fiscal year to the 27 fiscal year instead of comparing revenues to the 26 fiscal year to determine the amount of income tax rate would be reduced. So that's real important because it's starting at 0 then if we look at 27, because there is nothing in 27. So that's why I believe the fiscal note was so large. However, in making this change, there was a reference added to January 1st of 27 fiscal year, which Oversight correctly noted could be read as comparing the entire applicable fiscal year with just the first 6 months, as Senator Nirenberg has recognized. And that will be fixed, has to be fixed for this to be able to be passed, I think. And I don't think anybody's standing in the way to do that. So I'm going to be supportive of it. I do not want to be in charge of an appropriations committee that's losing $8 billion, and I don't believe that's what the plan is. So I hope all of us will support this, and we're going to go through several more drafts, and somebody's going to have to be really paying attention so we don't make some kind of drafting error going forward as well. So thank you.
Senator Bratton, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To speak in favor of this, I'd just like to bring up for the body, when we see, even if it's $2 billion or $4 billion, this isn't just going off into nowhere land. This is literally going into the pockets of 6 million people in this state who, while government's bloat has continued, 2021 we were at $35 billion total budget. This last year at $50 billion. So we've seen this exponential increase in government cost and spending, while people's budgets, people's bottom line has not increased hardly at all. It's only continued to get hit. And if I'm able to vote for something that will be a direct impact to their families, their lives, and their bottom dollar, the food on their table, I will vote all day, every day. I think it's incumbent upon us to make the tough decisions that every single family in this state has to make every single day, every single month, living paycheck to paycheck. And I think it's time that we have to make the tough decisions that force us as a government to make tough decisions. So I'm happy to support this and look forward to seeing the people pass it. Thank you.
Senator Coleman?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say one of the things that we've confronted in this committee time and time again has been errors in the fiscal note. And I understand Senator is saying that there was a drafting concern that was caught, and Senator again with the 6 months versus the full year. But we are confronted again and again with partial information in our fiscal notes and where they're not correct, and it makes it a little bit, really a lot difficult. In particular, one of the things that we seem to do the worst job at is when we're evaluating what's going to happen when we're moving from A to B, making a change rather than just implementing A. And when I'm looking at this fiscal note, a lot of this is assuming that we are only going to be eliminating the income tax, not that we're going to be cutting a lot of the special interest carve-outs that exist right now all across our tax code. So this doesn't seem to me to be a partisan problem. It seems to be a math problem. The states that have eliminated their income tax have a steadier revenue stream to be able to balance their budgets. And I'm looking forward to next year's legislature, and I'll be cheering from you from the promotion I'm going to be getting to citizen as you guys are trying to figure out how are we going to do this. It can be done. In the city of Arnold, they shifted property taxes into consumption-based taxes, dropping the tax revenue for everybody in Jefferson and in the city of Arnold. So again, I think that this fiscal note is at best impartial or incomplete. And I'm looking forward to having more complete data, because we have seen this on this committee, Mr. Chairman, again and again, where we aren't well recognizing what happens when we're shifting from doing something one way to a new way. We're only talking about what's going to happen if this one piece gets implemented. So anyways, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Beck?
Thank you. So, and we mentioned the mistake, which happened time and time again, and that was kind of our mantra as we entered this session about not having a rubber stamp Senate. And here again, the most important piece of legislation, according to the governor, that he wants to get done, and it's got this horrible glaring error in it and mistake. And whether it's a drafting error, people may say that now, not sure if it was a drafting error or not. But what this does, this will create the most massive tax increase in the state's history. It will shift the burden of taxes to the middle class and lower middle class and those who can't afford it. It will attack those same folks that they're going to take away their services, disabled people, disabled veterans, people on fixed incomes. Same people are going to be taking things away from. You're going to increase their taxes on everything they do. Everything they do. There will be a massive tax increase. You go get a haircut, guess what? You're going to get a tax on that. And that's going to be across the board. It's not good for the people of Missouri, period. It does let the super wealthy off, and I'm sure some will probably make back all their money over time, and probably in a year's time they'll make every dollar they've ever put into no, I won't go there. But what I'm going to say is, the point blank, is this is the most massive tax increase that will happen. And if it doesn't happen, then we will no longer be able to compete with any other state. We will have to shut our schools. We did this. This experiment was done in Kansas. And they had the ability to come back, and guess what they had to do? They had to raise taxes. And that's what the choices are going to be made here. So this looks easy for people to say, oh my gosh, you're going to get rid of income tax. But at the end of the day, this is the most massive tax increase on working people in this state's history. And that's what's going to happen here. And it'll be detrimental for our counties. It'll be detrimental for our rural area. Good thing about me in St. Louis, I live 12 minutes from the border. I'm sure we can do a lot of, Illinois got rid of their grocery tax. This will double that. This will also put use taxes. So all the things that people are talking about affordability, this is going to make it so bad on them and worse on people in Missouri. Just remember what this is. This is the most massive tax increase in the state's history.
Any other discussion? Senator Crawford?
I just want to remind everybody that this bill doesn't raise anybody's taxes. It lets the people of Missouri decide. So, I have some concerns about the HJR myself, but I don't have any concerns about letting the people of Missouri decide for themselves what they want to do. So I'll be supporting the resolution.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Senator Bernstein?
Aye.
Black? Aye. Beck? No. Braden? Aye. Coleman? Aye. Crawford? Aye. Fitzwater? Aye. Mosley? Aye. Nurnberg? Aye. 6-3.
By your vote of 6-3, you have voted to pass Senate Committee Substitute for House Committee Substitute for HJRs 173 and 174. I move we adjourn. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The ayes have it. We're adjourned. Thank